Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for March 18th. In 1836, President David G. Burnett and his cabinet reached Jared E. Groce's plantation on their way east to escape General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. They remained there for 3 days before continuing to Harrisburg. In 1836, William F. Gray recorded in his diary about the runaway scrape, quote, "Many persons moving eastward to escape continued storm of war came along with their families, some in wagons, some in carts, some on foot, with mules and horses packed with their movables." End quote. In 1861, Lieutenant Governor Edward Clark was inaugurated as governor after Sam Houston refused to take the oath of allegiance to the Confederacy 2 days earlier. Clark served for only 8 months as he lost the next governor's race to Francis R. Lubbock. Clark served in the served in the War of Northern Aggression, or the War for Southern Independence, but fled to Mexico following it, then later settled in Marshall, where he died in 1880. In 1887, the Battle of Yellow House Canyon took place near modern Lubbock and essentially ended the Staked Plains, or Hunters' War. Indians led by Black Horse had been allowed to leave the Fort Sill Reservation to hunt and witness buffalo hunter George Sewell kill many buffalo below the Caprock. The Indians murdered and scalped Sewell and plundered other camps. Hunters chased the Indians and found their camp in Yellow House Canyon, now Lubbock Lake. When the hunters realized they were greatly outnumbered, they retreated under a burning prairie grass smokescreen. In May, the 10th U.S. Cavalry overtook the Indians northwest of Lubbock. After a short fight, the Indians surrendered and were sent back to the reservation at Fort Sill. In 1878, Alfred H. Below, publisher of the Galveston News and founder of the Dallas Morning News, had a telephone line installed between his newspaper office and his Galveston home. Below had attended the Philadelphia Centennial Exposition in 1876, where Alexander Graham Bell had exhibited one of his new inventions. Below's phone was most likely the first telephone installed in Texas. And in 1937, at 3:05 in the afternoon, the new London School exploded while classes were in session. The explosion literally blew the building into the air. Of 500 students and 40 teachers in the school, there were 298 deaths and many severe injuries. The explosion was caused by a spark from a sanding machine, which ignited gas in the basement that leaked from a green line the school had tapped to cut costs. The leak was not detected because pure or green gas is odorless. The last day the school had paid for legal gas, was January 18th. Approximately 70 lawsuits were filed, but all were dismissed for lack of evidence of culpability. A positive outcome of this tragedy was legislation that required malodorants to be added to gas used in industry and commerce. In 1939, a cenotaph memorial was erected at the new school. That's sad. Well, that, my friend, was your Texas History Roundup for March 18th. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow on the next one. All right, you take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.